Welcome to How Can She? This is Gunny T here, one half of the Super Snap Bros with my brother from another mother, the DJ himself.
You can call me Snake.
Snake today, and we got a very, very, very awesome and important guest here, and that is the Kid Snap. How you doing, the kid?
Well, Gunny T, hey man, thanks for having me on this pod. I'm fucking pumped to be here, bro. I appreciate it. Oh, you guys are great. Oh my god, that was awesome.
Oh man.
But man, hey, no big deal. He's he's out living his best life, having his honeymoon out in Europe there. Finally nice. Got a break from the kid. I'm pretty excited about it, not to have him on the pod for once. So it should be probably the best pod we ever did. I mean, Gunny T, Joe. Thanks for coming, boys. I appreciate it. Absolutely. How you guys doing today?
Absolutely. I'm doing awesome.
Doing
man.
awesome, man.
Look, anytime I could cosplay on a pod, man, it's a good day.
That's great. Yeah, Gunny T with the shades.
You guys.
You're awesome, Gunny T. You guys are great. We got nothing crazy is really going on in Snap, this week. But we got a pretty cool card that came out, Sasquatch. We're gonna be talking about her. All the decks we've been playing with her. Pretty versatile card, I would say. We're going to be ranking all the cards that have come out this season. And then we're going to talk about new announcement from leagues, new announcement from IGN. Just some, talking shop a little bit. And that's about it. Let's get it. The kid. All right. Gunny T, Joe, how the heck are you guys?
Gunny, go right ahead.
Man, I'm doing great. Living life high right now. We'll be talking about it a little bit later, but I was down, man. Like the last couple of weeks weren't really that much fun. I mean, I remember I was listening to your pod. You were talking about last couple of weeks before weren't the greatest, but man, I just couldn't find anything to win with. I started my infinite climb, or like started in post infinite around like rank 3,000 or so, and that went down steadily as it does this time of the month, where more and more people enter infinite. But I got all the way down to like rank 9,000. But then after I picked up the deck we're gonna talk about later, I'm back up in top 2K, like working my way down. I don't play enough to really get too high, but I generally float around like the top 1K range. And if I'm not mistaken, kid, that's where you generally sit as well.
I'm usually maybe between 1 to 5K, and then if I don't play that much, kind of like this month, I think I'm right now floating around 6.
Yeah,
right now, and I haven't really played too much. I've been actually playing a little bit of just dicking around in Conquest, to be honest with you, because the stupid hot locations, I can't take them. But like, and just doing stupid, just
those a little bit.
Yeah, we can talk about those more, but just doing stupid stuff. But yeah, that's right around right. Joe, how are you doing, dude?
I'm down here with the casuals, keeping the ground floor warm. I have played so much Conquest this month. Yeah. I have like 13,000 Conquest points. It's ridiculous. I have so many. I think I have like 10 infinite tickets, which I know I'll never use because I won't get a chance to use them all. But yeah, I've been having fun, man. I've seen some decks that I've had a ton of fun with in the game. That goofy, and again, I got 2 of them from Regis's stream. One of them is outrageously ridiculous. When I saw this, I'm like, how in God's name do you win with this thing? It's all 6 cards. It's literally Destroyer, Ultron, Galactus, Death, Null. It's almost like a small Destroy package because you have X-23, Electro, and Wave in there. But it's the most ridiculous deck ever. It was on Glazer actually had it on his show. I think it was this morning's. But Louis 419, I think, was the person who created it. But it's the most fun deck I've ever played, and I've won more games with Ultron than you could believe. Like just filling lanes with Ultron that they absolutely don't expect. They're like, "What the hell is an Ultron doing in this deck?" Or I'll wave him out, throw all the bots out, Killmonger all the bots, and you have a huge null and a free death. It's the dumbest deck ever, but man, I've been having a blast playing that deck.
Cool,
so much fun.
We gotta build it later. We gotta build it on here later, and that you gotta go through it because this sounds like something I want to play. It looks fun.
It's so ridiculous, and it's really good in Conquest because no one expects it. I started off. I was playing. The person I was playing was they were playing Safety Blades deck. So the one with the cannonball. So I'm like, I'm probably dead. and sure, like the first 4 cubes I lost, and then the rest of the game they couldn't beat me. And it was like, wow, this deck really does work in Conquest. So
Surprising
yeah,
how some of that
it's
stuff
been
works
fun,
out.
man. I'm having fun, all except for the which we'll get to later, the not so hot locations. Yeah.
What are you
So,
talking about?
but
Cancun's bright and sunny.
it is
Yeah.
bright and sunny, not so much in my neck of the woods. But yeah,
Other than that though, finishing up week 4 of Snap Judgments League, Joe, you're doing hot this time, aren't you?
3-1. I lost
3-1.
one match. I got beat by a Darkhawk deck, which I just wasn't. I lost to JJ Rolk.
Oh yeah, JJ's a great player.
Yeah, he is a really good Darkhawk deck, and I was just not the deck I played just didn't match up. I was trying to play that ongoing cap deck with Spectrum, and it just didn't line up.
So you're all finished 3-1,
yeah,
right?
Yeah, 3-1. Yeah,
you're probably going to be top 8.
I
If I had to guess, if you lost against JJ Rolk, he has a high like opponent win rate. So
yeah,
I would not be surprised to see you up in top 8 for your pod. What about you,
That's
kid?
awesome. That's awesome. Yeah. It's
Go ahead, dude. I was saying I'm 3-0 currently.
Okay.
Just repping the Phoenix Force. Last week played a Blink Cannonball version of Phoenix Force. I don't know. Did Guest do his stream? I don't know if he did it. I don't know yet, but
he did.
The
Yeah.
last week one. Oh shit! I gotta look. I was on his one, not the round 3, but round 2. So that was awesome. He's the best caster, man. I love watching.
I love Guest. He does such a great job.
Yeah, I've been so crazy busy this week with work and shit that I haven't even like caught up on much Snap stuff. But yeah, 3-0 currently, and honestly, the guy that I messaged him, and he hasn't really messaged back, so I don't know if he might take an auto loss, and I'll feel really bad about it.
Yeah,
but
just
I mean,
keep
what
posting
can you
your
do?
availability. You know how it works.
Yeah.
It's only like 1 hour left, I think, right? So
yeah,
we'll see what happens. But yeah, that was it's been pretty fun, man. It's been pretty fun. Are you joining the Snap Judge festivities, or are you just kind of moderating everything?
No, I play. I'm not doing well. I'm 1-2 currently, but that's okay. I mostly focus. I'm there so people can see me and interact with me.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Yeah, no, it's fun. I love this concept, honestly. Hats off to you guys. It's such a good concept. I love it. For like $1 a month.
It really
it's like,
is.
You know, there's nothing better, man, because it's just so much fun. Like, I don't even care. The game's like, I don't even give a shit if I win. Like, if I'm 0-3, I don't give a fuck. Like, I'm just having fun out there. I'm just being an idiot. I'm like, staying when I shouldn't, that kind of stuff, because I don't give a shit. Like, I'm just having fun. And I hope the other people are doing it too, The one guy I played a couple weeks ago, he was actually a fan of the show, which was like, oh shit, like I didn't think that was ever going to happen, And I'm like, we'll just fuck around, we'll emote all the time, we'll be idiots, it'll be fun, so don't worry about it. So it was great. I loved it, man.
What I've been trying to do is get on Discord chat with people as we're playing, so we can talk smack to each other.
Yeah, I did on like last month or maybe a month and a half ago now. There was a Phoenix Force only tournament in Lambie series. Discord. Yeah, so we all played only Phoenix Force.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert: I ended up winning somehow, but it was kind of like because I was playing Finn in the finals, and he had to like leave because real life shit happened. So
yeah,
I auto won the finals. But anyways, we were on Discord, so like we were on Discord chat, and so we were just talking shit. Like there was like a bunch of us in the chat, and we were all kind of like talking shit, and like the people playing each other were talking shit, and the spectators were kind of talking shit without giving stuff away. It was hilarious. It was fun. So yeah, I highly recommend it.
That's awesome. It's great to do that. Like I've said this before, like on my show, when I talk to people about that, it's it brings me back to the days when and Gunny, you would know this too because you're a Magic player. It brings me back to those days, and that's one of the things I really enjoyed about card playing was that you can go to these places and you're playing across the table from people. You can meet new people. Many times, if you lose early on in a tournament like that, you can go around and trade cards and all that kind of stuff. And I kind of miss that, and that would be a cool way. Like somebody, I think I was asking one of the people I had on my show recently, like what they would like to see in the game. Oh, it was a New Mutant a couple days ago. And he had said he wishes there would be a way where you could talk to people. Like if they come out with the clans, groups, whatever it is they're going to call it. He's like, it would be great if they had a way to chat. Like if people could just chat in the game, except for not just having the emotes. Yeah, I think that'd be awesome.
I think almost certainly you're going to be able to chat with the alliances.
Yeah, I would
because
think
there's
so.
an option for languages.
Yeah.
So you have to select your language. So that makes me think that there's because why else would you have to do that, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I would think so. They would have to. I mean, when guilds in every game I've played, World of Warcraft especially, they always had guild chat. You always had a chat going in the guild when you could talk to people in there. So yeah, I think it's a cool thing. I think it'd be a step in the right direction. People can, even if people are pissed about stuff, you can vent in
Yeah.
places like that and not have to go over to a Discord server or something else to do that. So yeah, I think that'd be exciting if they came out with something like that.
Yeah,
Talking
that'd be
about
great.
new things, have either of you heard about the all-in format that I have started trying out?
No,
No.
talk about that. I've
Yeah.
seen
Okay.
pings for it, and I've just been
Yeah.
working every time that it's out.
So-
And I want to
So
hear this.
some we're just trying out, but on Top Deck, they recently came out with the support for the Lorcana format. How Lorcana is, they're testing out something which is like, it's not best of two. It's just play two games. And you win 1 point per game you win, right? So if you and I, Kid, are playing, if I win a game, I win 1 point. If you win a game, you win 1 point. And then if you win both games, you get an extra point. So it's just an interesting way to do it. And one of the things that I thought was, it's very particular to Marvel Snap, and it's a great thing for it, but it's the snap mechanic, the snap and the retreat. I think both of you could probably agree that some of the best games you either see or have participated in is when somebody's back is up against the wall and they're playing to those crazy outs. It's like, oh man, this right here has a 10% chance to win, but I've got to do it because I got no cubes left, right? And then you come out on those wins, like that is nuts. So what I'm trying to do with All In is you're going to play two games, just like the Lorcana format, and then it's all or nothing, right? You're going to play 6 turns of a game, draw one hand. Whoever wins that game that's the winner. You exit from that game, and you could bring whatever deck you want to the next game. So you could bring the same deck. You could bring a counter to your opponent's deck. You could bring the counter to what the opponent thinks you're going to counter with their deck. Like it's nuts, man. And on top of that, we did 4 rounds of Swiss in about an hour and a half, which is just kind of insane.
Wow.
So like thinking about knocking out like a real tournament in like 3 or 4 hours. Yeah, it's an interesting concept. I will say the one big piece that sucks about it is RNG definitely takes a factor there. We've all been in those games where your hand sucks, locations are awful for you. So that's definitely a big part of it. But what the players said was it was just fast and furious, throwing decks out there just like left and right, felt really cool. Swiss format in our King of the Hill, which is normally single elimination, was neat. And really 4 rounds in an hour and a half. That's just nuts.
Dude, that's a great concept actually, because then there's a lot of deck building implications there, because if I'm going to play that, I'm not fucking bringing Phoenix Force.
Yeah, you can't.
That's a wholly draw dependent deck, and I need a whole conquest. Like I need to be able to leave for 1 cube.
Yeah,
if I draw like shit, which is almost all the time. So you want to have decks that are pretty consistent and have a nice curve, and that's such an interesting concept, because you got to bring decks like that. You're not going to bring big combo decks because you can get fucked.
It's just like it might create its own little metagame. I don't know if it has any legs or if it goes anywhere, but the players had fun with it, so we're going to do it again. I'm just not sure of the competitive viability of it because of the RNG, but who the fuck knows, man? Do whatever the fuck we want.
Right?
Yeah, it's fun. Who cares? That's all that matters, right?
Yeah.
Like
it's all included with your $1 patronage.
Yeah, there you go. But you're doing tournaments all the time. How many have you done so far?
Oh God. Let's see. I am over 50 now since February. So in less than 6 months, I've ran over 50 tournaments.
Oh my gosh.
I don't even know what that breaks down to.
That's crazy.
I guess 5-ish months. So 10 tournaments a month.
That's crazy. Oh my God. It's like more 2.5 a week. There you go. Quick math.
Yeah.
The T in your name now should just be tournament. You should just be Gunny Tournament.
Gunny Tournament.
Gunny Tournament.
Gunny Tournament, man. All right. Great. So we got some stuff to talk about. We got Sasquatch pulled up on the screen here, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Let's talk about, you guys all pick up Sasquatch?
Yes.
Heck yeah, I did. It's a big dumb idiot. There's no way Jim Tim Snap's not getting the Sasquatch.
Actually,
Exactly,
she is a
exactly.
big. You know what? I had to go on and explain on my show yesterday the difference between the brown and white Sasquatch in Marvel.
Okay.
So many people were asking. They even asked the devs about it, and I'm like, they're like, why aren't you calling this one Heather? But I mean, they're not going to put Heather on the card name. I'm like, they're not going to do that. They don't, but people just have to. I didn't. Kind of forgot about it myself, to be honest with you. There's Walter Langowski's Sasquatch, which is the brown one, and then there's Heather's Sasquatch, which is this one, which was in the Exiles. But it really is a cool history. I didn't even know she found Wolverine after he escaped the Weapon X program, and I had no idea. I had no idea about that. And then she married him. I had no clue about any of that stuff.
Wow.
When I went back and read all about it, I'm like, damn. But yeah, I thought it was really funny. And the devs even got that. I saw the dev question, and they were like, "This isn't right. Why aren't you calling this the Heather?" I'm like, my God, really? Like, people would point that out, but hey, comic book fans are crazy. And even I didn't know that one, but it's pretty funny. That there are two of them, and you wouldn't think, you have the brown one that looks like Bigfoot, and then you have this one that looks like, of course, is Sasquatch. So pretty funny. But yeah, I got it.
That's
I got
that's
tempted
hilarious. I had no
though.
idea.
I ended up blowing my keys because I wanted those variants. Oh my God, that Ravona variant and the Sasquatch variant, dude. That's got to be one of the coolest animations on a card I've seen. It gets this. It almost looks like he's jumping out of the card, and you get a snow thing going by him. So you see all the snow, like when you split the card, and the snow, this big snow line is just across the card. They were amazing. I'm like,
Yeah, it's probably the best one that she's got for sure. That's gonna be really hard
it's
to beat that
so
for her.
cool, dude. It's yeah. So I blew keys. I'm like, yeah, I'm getting it, and I wanted the Ravona too. I got the Ravona. It looks exactly like Mobius's. I love it. So yeah,
Yeah, the spotlight variant for Sasquatch is insane. It's so good.
oh, it's good,
And
dude.
I would have debated going for it, but I nailed Sasquatch on one, which hasn't happened to me in like months. I haven't got a one tap.
Nice.
So I was like, you know what? Just enjoy this moment, take the win, and that's it.
I don't
So
blame
yeah.
you. Yeah, that
So what have
rarely
you been doing
happens,
with
so.
Sasquatch?
Excuse
What?
me, I sneezed. Sorry. So I actually love Sasquatch. I haven't played her in any bounce yet. Actually,
Yeah.
I know a lot of people have been doing that. The first thing I did day one, which we'll get into the decks later, but I built a Dazzler list because I wanted to play
Cool.
more with cards that like I haven't really played with. So I did like
Yeah.
a Dazzler, Squirrel Girl, like Blue Marvel, Mysterio, Mockingbird type of deck,
Yeah.
with Scar in it too, and Call Obsidian.
That sounds
Because
great.
I miss playing Scar, and like I haven't played much, Call, and I'm like, let's make this deck, and it was working pretty damn good actually.
That
Yeah.
yeah.
I was pretty excited about it. I might take it into Infinity Conquest if I have time to do that. But that's what I did. Number one. Number two, I tried like a Darkhawk shell too, because I'm like, I haven't played Darkhawk in a hot
Nice.
minute. Let me try that. And then Revis came out with a deck which was pretty cool, and Ica had a deck which was pretty cool. So that's kind of what I've been doing. There hasn't been a bounce shell that I've used, but like the Dazzler, fill the lane, fill the board kind of thing was pretty sick.
That deck fills
like
the
that.
board
What-
pretty easily, that's for sure.
Yeah. And I got Kyera in there too.
Let
Oh,
me see if
there
I
we
can
go.
get that on there. It is.
Oh,
Yeah, look
man.
at that Sasquatch. That's sick. It's so cool.
Yeah,
That does look like it's
really-
jumping off the card. Wow.
It does, like with the snow coming. It's really a cool looking variant. I was like, yeah, that's badass.
Have you been playing it at all yet, Joe?
Yeah. I played in a very similar list to what Kid was just talking about. It's this is the one I just have it listed as good big cards, but it's Nebula, Nico, White Widow, Mysterio, Mobius, Hope, Baron Zemo, Crossbones, Cull, Mockingbird, Sasquatch, and Scar.
That should just be called Beat Professor X deck.
Right? It's crazy though, because like you can't shang it. There's no way, because you have too much power in all three. I had a play where, because of the Mysterio, and because of the Baron, because Baron's giving you a card, I had a free Sasquatch, a free Mockingbird, and a Scar last turn. Like that's 30 power. You're most of the time, unless you're Hella, you're not beating 30 power. So I like it. I think it's a fun card. I wouldn't probably play it in Bounce. Bounce really isn't a format I play much. But I
I
did
think
see some people playing it online, and
the
it
issue
looked
with it
pretty good.
on Bounce, I believe, is like Bounce wants to be a turn 6 deck, I believe.
Yeah.
You're pulling everything back. You need that time to kind of set up. You can play a lot of things on turn 5, but you're really looking for that turn 6 pop off where your opponent doesn't know where all of your power is going to be. And if you're doing that, then you don't have time to play Sasquatch.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Dot Geo, I think, posted a bounce deck with
Yeah.
Sasquatch and said it was pretty damn good. So I don't know.
I could
They're a
see
lot
it.
better
It's
than
a
I
good card.
fucking am, but yeah. I actually like this card. I think this card is awesome.
Me too.
I think it's a really good card. I mean, cheap stats, and you can never go wrong with that, right? Like every fucking card, like Mockingbird, that have had those cheap stats. There's good.
Let's
Call
talk about it
Obsidian,
being a
there's good.
banger too. Like, I don't think I've heard a single person complain about it being overpowered. Like, it does its thing, but other than that, like it's just kind of putting comparable stats out there. I think there's the small package that's almost in every one of the decks here, other than Bounce, which is the Mysterio, Mockingbird, Sasquatch. Like, whatever else you want to do with that is it's kind of where you're at.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about some of the decks then. I know, Gunny T, you had a pretty cool deck.
Yeah. All right. So
I'll talk about.
Go ahead.
You want to go ahead? You talk about it. Go ahead.
All right. So
we'll build it.
Yeah, let's build this deck up. So Regis Kilbin had a video come out, and I just want to mention this for one. I've said this before, but Regis is one of the huge creators out there, and for someone like of his level to just mention the where he's finding decks from, like whenever he did Big Dumb Idiots, he said it was Gunny T's deck. He did what was the other deck that you had mentioned? The Loof or the which one, Joe? Was it the Galactus
Louis
one?
419 deck?
Yeah, right. Like he mentions where these decks come from, and that is so cool. So why I mentioned that is because he called this one Big Dumb Cheap. I don't know if he remembers covering my deck, but he just mentions Big Dumb X all the time because he just loves, and I feel like that is right. That is his style. So let me pull up this deck on Snap myself. We're going to start with Squirrel Girl, I believe. No, sorry, Nico's first.
Sorry, I'm like ridiculous.
That's all right. We're building live. Nico, Squirrel Girl. Those are your 1-drops. And then we go to, sorry, you got Snap still loading up. Then it's Zabu.
You're good. Oh, nice. We got Zabu in here.
Yeah, getting some Zabu action back in there. And we'll talk about that, man. Zabu's hot sick. Tech, man. Zabu for 3s. We're on, I know it's, all right, hold on. What's the first 3? All right, it's popped up now. I can actually open it. All right, for 3, or sorry, next 2 is Mysterio, excuse me. All right, and then after that, we've got Morph. That one's been pretty hot.
Oh, nice.
Morph for against the Helidex. Man, that is nice. Next is Gladiator, those big points.
Yep.
And then our 2 10 power 4-drops in Crossbones and Cull Obsidian.
Crossbones, there you go.
Yep. And then a surprise fun card in this is Blue Marvel.
That's great. Yeah, Blue Marvel is fun in these decks.
Yeah. Blue Marvel, and finishing it off with Mockingbird, Sasquatch, and Scar.
That's great.
All right, so I'll talk about this for a second. So some of the really cool things here, so I guess some of the odd cards. One is Nico. Nico doesn't really seem like it fits in this deck, but it does surprisingly well. So if you don't know, whenever you play a Mysterio, they play in the order from right to left, right? So let's say you played Nico that turns it into a demon or blows up the card to draw you 2 cards, right? So you're getting rid of one of your Mysterios. If I played Mysterio in mid or right, it starts far left, right? So that means the left one would be the one that pops. So as long as you don't play your 4-power Mysterio there, you're going to get your bonus for a 0-cost dude, which is pretty awesome. Then you got your +2 power, which is great on Gladiator, great on Mockingbird to reduce your Scar cost. Move, it does Nico stuff, right? We all know that it's just kind of a Swiss Army knife. Some of them aren't great, but it's a great fit in there, and it opens up your ability to play a Cull Obsidian a little bit later. Squirrel Girl in this deck is the same reason why I love Squirrel Girl in Big Dumb Idiots, is it's really great for both Cull Obsidian, allowing you to play it in any lane you want to, and also surprisingly Crossbones. Now I know that you're playing Squirrel Girl turn 1 and Crossbones, probably on turn 4 unless you get your Zabu out. But most likely your opponent's only playing in 1 or 2 lanes by that point. Now, if they spread it out, they could definitely get over the top on one of those, but you're really highly likely to be ahead in one of those locations by what you've done by that point to play a Crossbones. Now, moving into Zabu, I've found Zabu to be really awesome on turn 2 into the far right lane where people generally don't play, and immediately followed by a Crossbones, because you've got your 3 power there, you're ahead in that lane, boom, Crossbones is down, and now you've got your 10 power on turn 3. Now, we all know what Mysterio does, opening up your ability to play a turn 3 Sasquatch, also reducing the cost of Mockingbird by 3. That's amazing. Morph is an odd inclusion here. Really, it's just kind of a hint out to all of the Hella decks out there. Pulling a giant card is pretty darn amazing. That being said, it could possibly be a Cosmo to stop some Shang-Chi action onto your big cards, but Shang-Chi is just not so popular right now. I've also found this deck spreads out power so much. Mm-hmm. So if they want to spend 4 energy to win a lane, like, good, I guess I'll just put 11 more power on the board or something while you're doing that. Then Gladiator, we all know why that's there. We already talked about Crossbones and Cull Obsidian. Blue Marvel has been a really spicy one for this deck. Not only does it boost up your smaller cards, being the Squirrels and your Mysterios, but also getting Mockingbird up to 10 power to reduce that Scar. This is one of the few decks that can reasonably get out a free Scar, and that's pretty amazing to do. And then your Sasquatch plays there. Sometimes it's open, sometimes it's not. But really, it's only ever at worst a 5/10, and it just reduces the cost of Scar. And you're throwing that cheap Scar down, which is reasonably a 2 cost almost every single game. So being able to drop, a Crossbones or a Cull Obsidian with that Scar, Mockingbird plus other things, like it's pretty amazing. So I actually climbed from about 10, I think I was at about 9K post Infinite down to about 2,500 or so. So it's been doing some work for me.
Wow. Yeah, that's great. Another combo. Oh, I was going to say another combo in this that I have, because I have some of the same cards in mine. I think, with Sasquatch, we're all trying the same shit, right? Like, the Squirrel Girl, Mysterio, Mockingbird specifically. You put Squirrel Girl on 1, Mysterio on 2. You can play Mockingbird's free at that point.
Yep.
So in turn 3, you could play Mockingbird Crossbones, Mockingbird Cull Obsidian, Mockingbird Sasquatch if you want.
And I highly advise doing that immediately. Yeah. So with the prevalence of Mobius out there, like, just drop them down as soon as you can. You don't want your card sitting in your hand just because you want it to hold power somewhere.
Yeah.
One of the killers I found for this deck is it really, really wrecks the Professor X decks. So spread out your power.
Yep.
Make sure you've got enough, going in each lane. Like, I've had players that play Daredevil on me, so they know where to put their Professor X, and they still just don't have anywhere to put it. Just because you can spread out so much power, right? You can throw a whole lot of power if the kill never pops up, or if a flooded location comes. Like, just throw the power in there. Like, it'll carry you. I will say one of the weaker points is this isn't possibly great into Loki. I have beat Loki. Don't always consider your Loki matchup to be done. A lot like Big Dumb Idiots, the way you beat Loki possibly is find the location that they're heavily invested in. So they've thrown, a Snow Guard. They've put in their Quinjet, whatever. They can their max power there is, only probably 21 more points with a Scar and another 10 drop. So if you can, boost that up, get over that, then you can take that location, and there's still a chance for sure. There's only so many spots that they can play into, but it is definitely a tough one. So, and then against Hella, that could be tough too. Just go tall in 2 locations and hope that RNG is in your favor. And then what's the other? Bounce is a hard one, I think. But again, it's all about going tall in 2 locations to see if you can go over the top of them.
Yeah. What do you think of the morph in here?
It's been okay. Sometimes it's great, sometimes it's not great. I don't know. I may possibly change that into just a Cosmo again for that Shang-Chi. It's also really good against Cannonball, right? You throw your Cosmo down, and then they can't Cannonball that location. So if they've Professor X somewhere and you've stolen that location from it, or they just don't have a good Professor X location and they're hoping on a Cannonball, like, it don't work.
Yeah, Cosmo's great. Red Guardian's good too. And then even, who gets so much value nowadays, I'm finding? Shadow King, man.
Yeah.
There's so much Shadow Angela King and stuff going on. Like, he's so good, dude. He's so good right now.
Yeah.
I've had him not in decks, and I'm like, I have to put him in these decks now because he's like,
Yeah, this deck
he's
has
doing so much work.
This deck has 0 tech cards. So
Yeah.
the biggest tech card you have in here is Gladiator. I was playing against a C3 deck that if they had dropped Cerebro, I was done for. Gladiator, destroy Cerebro. Or destroyed Cerebro. Like, okay, well, I won this game.
You're like, yes, that's great. Joe, what have you been playing, dude?
All right, here we go. So this is that one I mentioned earlier.
I love this deck, NET, by the way. This is sick.
This is Regis's deck, by the way. Big
yeah.
Dumb Cheap.
Yeah, I think I didn't. You know what I didn't realize about this deck too is that Morph. I didn't know Morph would count as an actual card for reducing Mockingbird, but it does.
All 3 of them
because the card didn't start in your deck. Yeah, I didn't know that. I had no idea that that's the case. I thought that was cool. Yeah, no, it's a good deck. Like I said, that's very similar to the one I was playing with a couple different cards. But it's very hard to catch up with that. And if you get everything you get out, players just can't stop you from filling up the power. So, all right, here we go. So we have X23 is your 1 cost.
If my computer will load, where is she? There we go.
We have Electro.
Oh, right to 3 cost, huh? Nice.
We have Killmonger. This is the deck by Louis 419, by the way. We have Venom. We have Wave. We have Blink.
Nice. Season pass stonks.
We have Null.
This deck is big.
It's very big. All these cards are 6s. Galactus. Of course, why
of
wouldn't
course,
it have?
Of course, you're playing Galactus.
Of course, I'm playing it because of this.
I love it.
We have Goliath.
Where is this guy? There he is.
We have Ultron.
Yep.
Destroyer.
Nice.
And Death.
This is great. Take us through this deck, Joe. This looks hilarious.
It's crazy, man. Like when I first saw this on Regis' stream, I'm like, how the hell? Like, what do you do if you pick all 6 cards? And it happens a lot. You'll start a game with 6 cost cards all in your hand, and you're like, oh, I'm dead. But you'd be surprised. Like the combos here are just insane. There are just so many combos you can get. You can get the, if you get X23 out, right? And if you draw an early, you get the wave and you want to play Ultron early, you go ahead and do it. He'll cover all the lanes. And then if you have a Killmonger in your hand, you wipe out all of those drones and you've got a null and you've got a free death. So you have that. Then you could always Venom and all that kind of stuff with that. You have just your normal ramp where you can go Electro or you could go Wave into Galactus. And then more than likely you might have a free death at that point in time. Or you could just destroy your Galactus with a Destroyer. If you have X23 out on the board, she's going all over the board anyway when the Galactus comes out. And you're getting all kinds of energy from that. You could blink out either an Electro or a Wave as well and just get one of the bigger cards. Ultron, honestly, is for me at least the key to the games I've won. That Ultron will win you game. You can stack a lane. I remember once I had Destroyer. I got it out early with the Wave, so I had him out and I had X23. So I was getting the power, the energy. I ended up putting out I had a Death. And then all I did was I put Ultron on that big lane. So I had all those big gigantic cards in one lane. And then there was a Sanctum Sanctorum out, which they couldn't play in. So the Ultron just filled the Sanctum and I win. It's like, it seems ridiculous when you look at this, but man, I'm telling you, I just don't know. And I've played some, like I said, I played a Safety Blade deck, which is really good. The one with Havoc, one of the bigger decks in the meta. I beat it. And it's just, I don't know. I don't know what it is. I love it, man. It's the goofiest thing. But I had a blast playing this deck. It is so much fun. And you wouldn't think it would work. It's almost kind of like it's like a small destroy hybrid with ramp. But I don't know, man. Credit to Louis 14. It's such a cool concept. Let's just take every big card and just lump it in a deck, and for whatever reason it works. And nobody expects some of these cards. Like Galactus, yeah, you could kind of see, right, with the Electro and the Wave. You're thinking, yeah, okay, they could be playing Galactus. Venom for sure. But they do not expect the Destroyer usually. The Ultron for sure. The Alioth can sometimes just win you games. It's just a fun deck, man. I absolutely love it. I've been playing this for like the last 4 days.
It looks insane.
It's
Yeah.
it's so much fun. It's so
I was
much fun.
I was trying to rack my head around Destroyer, and I was just thinking, like, if you like ramp out, you could just ramp out Destroyer, and then you get like Ultron and Death on the last turn, like Null and Death.
Yeah, no doubt.
That's hilarious, man.
Yep. The thing with the drones, because that's one of the opponents I played. I ended up getting I think it was, I forget the name of the location. It's the location that pulls a card from your hand and plays it.
Sakar.
Yeah. So it pulled the Ultron, right?
I
had Ultron, and I think I had X-23 and maybe Wave in the lane with him, and then all of the drones were full. So the opponent obviously is like, oh, he snaps right away because they're like, yeah, you're done, right? So next turn I played Killmonger and I wiped out every drone on both of those lanes, which grew the death, and I beat him with the death and the null. So it was like,
that's awesome.
Yeah, it's fantastic. I love it, man. It's such a cool thought out deck that I don't think anyone would have ever. And I've been playing Galactus forever. I never would have thought. Sure, I've combined him with Death. I've combined him with Null in the past when the card was different. But I would never have thought to combine him with an Ultron, with a Destroyer. I mean, I guess you could, because you can destroy Galactus after you win the lane. But yeah, it's so much fun. Credit to him. It's really fun. And in Conquest, oh man, chef's kiss. I've won. I have 11 Infinity tickets, to which right now I'm working on my first one. I'm already up to the fifth game in it, and I won the first 4 with this deck. So yeah,
that's amazing.
It's awesome.
How's Alioth in this one?
Alioth works out if you end up playing against a deck that's playing Odin, or if they're playing Namora, any of that kind of stuff.
There's a lot of those, yeah.
Or it works against Cannonball. If somebody tries to cannonball you, let's say you Galactus, and someone tries to cannonball you in that Galactus lane, you just get priority. Use Alioth, no cannonball. So
that's great.
It's very, very good against that on the last turn. So it's definitely good against cannonball. I beat a couple cannonball decks using a last turn Alioth. In fact, I got that whole thing. When you're playing somebody, they think they got you beat, they give you the fist bump. And I'm like, oh, you poor soul, man. And I knew exactly what they're doing, because I knew they played Cannonball prior. And I knew what they were doing. I'm like, yep, they got the Cannonball. Here we go, Alioth, whoop, and he just sat there. And I'm like, yep, fist bump back.
That's great.
Oh, it's so much fun. What an amazing deck. It made my week. It was so much fun to play.
That's great. Yeah, I've been seeing a lot more Wong shenanigans on the ladder, actually, which I'm kind of happy about. It's I like seeing Wong. I like seeing these little on-reveal decks.
All right, what have you been playing, kid?
So this is what I made on day one, right when the card came out. I bought the card, and I'm like, I want to play some Fill the Lane Dazzler bullshit. And it's kind of similar to the other one, right? The one that you went through a little bit.
Yeah.
A couple changes. I just went with Ant-Man, because I wanted to fill everything, basically. Ant-Man, Nico, Squirrel Girl, Dazzler, Shadow King, Mysterio, Kyera, Call Obsidian, Blue Marvel, Mockingbird, Sasquatch, and Scar. So it's like it's almost the same as the big dumb cheap one, but I swear I didn't copy this off anything. I just built it. But it's the packages are there, and the synergies are there. It's basically just you want to fill stuff up, and Dazzler works great for that, especially for some surprise power on the end if people don't expect you to fill up lanes. Kyera, because there's a lot of Killmonger now, people killing stuff off. Mm-hmm. So Kyera helps with that, keep your lanes full, and also helps protect your Ant-Man. Nico's is a card I love, and I try to put Nico in all the decks that I possibly can, because it's such a fun card. Because you just 7 things you can do. It's hilarious. Shadow King's like MVP, man. Like Shadow King, just all the destroy stuff, all the Angela, all the kitties, everything like that. Shadow King's just been like an insane card in this meta so far. I really, really do like him a lot, and he's cheap for a 2 cost. Call is just awesome, especially if you have Squirrel Girl and you have Nico and Ant-Man as well to get the Call Obsidian down. Blue Marvel's awesome for surprise power. I'm surprised you actually had him in the big dumb cheap deck.
Yeah.
But he's great. Like you're filling up the lanes, and then they don't expect a Blue Marvel. They can Blue Marvel Squirrel Girl in the last turn, Blue Marvel Ant-Man, Nico if that works.
I mean, think about it. There's 11 other locations, so that could be a 5-14.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, no, it's nuts. It's nuts.
Or sorry,
and
11 other spots, right, that would get that bonus.
Yeah. So it's wild. And then and then you could just drop that with like sometimes Scar, sometimes Mockingbird and Sasquatch on the final turn. It's like it's pretty crazy. So it's just like a deck where you just fill everything up and just let her rip. And the Kyra does protect Sasquatch and Scar.
Yeah.
But not Call. My Call's eaten it by a Shang a few times. So poor guy. R.I.P. Call. But yeah, this deck's been fun. I really enjoyed this deck.
Dazzler's
Nice.
that's
a
my
fire
favorite
Shadow King
Dazzler variant as well.
I know
that's
it's so good, and I just
man.
want an excuse to play it too.
Dude. The Archerm one, I really need to get that ink.
Yeah.
I haven't used Dazzler enough to get it up that high of a level, but I've been trying to get that card inked. It would look so good inked, I think. He does his artwork crazy, man. It all looks like portraits. They all like the mystique, like all of the women that he draws, and most of these are comic book covers. Just amazing art. The White Widow from him, just tremendous, like absolutely awesome art that he does. I love that.
Yeah, he's good. If you want the realistic kind of stuff, he's like real good at it. He's so good. And then sometimes you want the cartoony stuff too.
Yeah.
I got one more deck to talk about. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, go for it. You want to go for it? Yeah, I have a random one. I'll just say it real quick. This one's not.
Okay.
This one's okay, but if you wanted like a dark hawk kind of shell, I just pretty much put like the Sasquatch shell, I guess, which we're calling his Sasquatch Mockingbird of Mysterio. And then I have Call Obsidian. This is like Korg, Nico, Squirrel Girl, Shadow King, White Widow, Mysterio, Black Widow, Rockslide, Call Obsidian, Darkhawk, Mockingbird, Sasquatch. Less fill the board, less fill up the entire board, more like targeted power, and then you have the Darkhawk and the rocks that disrupt, and the Black Widow that disrupts as well. So, and the White Widow. So this one's a pretty fun one too, if you want to play some Darkhawk stuff.
Yeah, that would be great. Darkhawk is such a good card.
Yeah, I miss playing him. He's fun.
And White Widow, man.
Right, what
that card?
That shell, man. People don't realize like players that play Darkhawk not necessarily play Darkhawk to play to play him specifically. It's those rocks that they put in your hand. Yeah, even if those 3 rocks in a player's hand can totally wipe out a deck. It really can.
Yeah.
If they draw those at the wrong time, oh my gosh, what a difference in a match it would make. I got wasted the other day in the league by that Darkhawk deck. Like I said, I mean, I won one match at 1 cube in that. I lost every other game. There was just nothing I could do. I kept drawing rocks instead of the card I needed in the deck I was playing that ongoing list, but the one with Destroyer. And I needed Destroyer to win. If I would have picked it, I would have got. But with the rocks in there, I had no chance. I was just there was no way I was getting it. He even asked me after the match, like, "Did you have Destroyer?" And I'm like, "I did. I never saw it." And he's like, "Yeah, I was trying to play around it." And I'm like, "Yeah, you really didn't need to because I never got it." And he was hitting me consistently every time with the rocks. He got the Korg on turn 1, got the rock slide, like and that was just wiping out the deck. So yeah, it's such a good list.
All right, so the spice I got for you is new Sarah Tech.
Ooh,
nice.
All right, what we're starting out with is the updated Grandmaster.
Nice.
And this is the whole reason why I built this deck, and we'll talk about it once we get it all built together. Grandmaster, Shadow King.
There you go.
U.S. agent, so go ahead and put whatever else you got there, kid.
Agent. Let's just throw, I don't know, with Wolverine or something. Wolverine's not on the deck, right?
No.
All right, let's put Doctor Strange, actually, because he's inked. So look
all
at
right.
the card's missing.
Yeah. So we got a U.S. agent there. Next is Sage and Killmonger. All right, and then after that we got Mobius, Ghost,
Who's next?
Mobius.
All right, Mobius.
Yep, and then Ghost.
Oh, Ghost. Nice.
Ooh, okay.
Ghost, yeah.
Mobius the
All right,
Yeti
and then we
counted.
got Shang-Chi and Miss Marvel,
Nice. Miss Marvel's good.
Enchantress,
Nice. Where am I? I'm blind. There we go.
Sarah.
The namesake of the deck.
Yep, and Legion.
Oh, nice. Filthy.
All right, so this is a cube stealer. I built this like right after the last OTA had come out, where they buffed the Grandmaster and they dropped down the Werewolf by Night, because a lot of people were playing the Werewolf by Night. And if we see a lot of green numbers come back, which is not really the metagame right now, so this deck's kind of fallen off a little bit, but this was doing work for me. And this is really why. So what I wanted to do was I wanted to make a Grandmaster deck that had just a few targets in here, a few really good targets. So your real targets here are your Shang-Chi, your Shadow King, and your Sage. Other than that, the most of the other things are ongoing cards. Obviously, you still have your Killmonger, your Legion, Enchantress, whatnot. But your goal is to kind of play out to where you are, hoping on using your Grandmaster to just win you lanes, either blasting out those 10 power cards. Like if this was played against the big dumb cheap, like you're gonna destroy that deck with some Shang-Chi. Double up Shang-Chi is pretty awesome. Double up Shadow King, which I definitely won a game where a player had loaded up the middle lane with an Angela and a Bishop, and then they Werewolf by Night. I knew where the Werewolf was going, so I was able to Shadow King that lane. Then I Grandmaster on top of that, moved it to the middle, blasted all that down, still playing out some other things, and it was just fantastic. Legion steals cubes. We all know that it can. And then the Ghost here with Sage is actually really darn good. Obviously, with Shang-Chi and Shadow King is really good too, but Sage being able to proc after, even if you have priority, after your opponent has done some things, and then you can also Grandmaster your Sage to make it proc twice, like it can put down some power. Yeah, it's been a fun deck to kind of play around with. It makes you feel really smart. That's kind of what I would call this deck, is like, this makes me feel smart. You lose some games because it can get outpowered, but if you find the ones, like if you can retreat well, I think this has really high cube equity, because you're just going to steal some games from people they're not expecting. Like nobody expects you to Grandmaster a Shadow King or a Shang-Chi. Like that is just something that doesn't really happen.
Yeah. That's hilarious, man. How's US Agent?
Oh man, U.S. Agent is U.S. Agent, man. It is it's almost a deterrent, right? So if you play your U.S. Agent, especially with that Shang-Chi or Shadow King, the U.S. Agent, well, I guess U.S. Agent doesn't really work for Shadow King so much, but specifically for Shang-Chi, right? It's going to force your opponent to play into those two other lanes with their bigger power cards. So then doubling up your Shang-Chi then is pretty awesome.
Yeah. That's good, dude. Sarah Control is a nice deck. I love how you threw in Grandmaster. I wanted to try and find a home for Grandmaster, but I didn't mess around with him too much this week. But
Yeah,
I
try it
like the
out.
change, man. So
There's a
yeah,
couple,
that's
like
sweet.
there's some slots I've been playing with. The Enchantress slot, obviously, that was more whenever all the ongoing stuff was going on, so that could possibly change out to something. Killmonger's kind of a meta call. Mobius, I think, has to be in the deck. I tried cutting it, but this deck loses hard to Loki if you don't have Mobius, because you just have a whole bunch of good cards, right? And your opponent
Yeah,
just gets him cheaper. But yeah, just play around the slots. Like it's all pretty. It's whatever you see in the metagame. It's kind of what Ceratech's always been. Is there's these slots that just fill in kind of with whatever you want it to be. At one point in time, I was playing Invisible Woman here over the U.S. Agent before I bought it, and that was pretty cool. You can, because sometimes you'll just have a Sage in your hand that you would like to play turn 3, but you don't want to. So play your Sage down underneath an Invisible Woman. That'll allow you to then have it proc later when more cards are in that lane. Also, an Invisible Woman's pretty sweet whenever people will use like a Red Guardian on it, and they're like, "Oh, I'm gonna get you," and then you just reveal some stuff that doesn't matter, like a Killmonger or something.
yeah,
It's not like you're hiding a combo or anything like that.
yeah,
Oh no, you got rid of you made my Sage only proc for a 3/7 instead of a 3, much more than that.
yeah. That's hilarious.
Enchantress
Or
is,
even like if you had Invisible Woman and then you put the Shadow King Grandmaster behind the Invisible Woman, stuff like that.
One piece that I found
Enchantress is
kind of
great too in this
hard
meta
here.
because there's.
Go ahead.
No, I was going to say Enchantress is good too, still in the meta because there's still a lot of Tribunal. I'm seeing a lot of Tribunal out there. That just wipes that out, and also Cerebro.
And that's what I'm getting at with the Cube Stealer here. Is like people just they don't know what you're doing.
Yep.
Nobody's playing Ceratech right now.
Yep.
So if you just like wait, snap on turn 4 or something, like they're playing that Tribunal list and they have all of the stuff. You've got Ghost in there to make sure that pops off last, and you hit every single one of their cards in that middle lane that they've tried to Tribunal up, and then you just win.
Yeah, and Legion's filthy, man. He's great.
Man.
He's a great
Legion
card. I love that card.
We can talk about him in a little bit with that particular hot location today and what people were doing with that, which was just disgusting.
Look at that sweet segue Joe just got to.
Look at that, yeah.
Segue
hot
man.
location, Cancun. You want to talk about Cancun? What do you guys? Your cards here.
What is Cancun again?
It's I think the score here doesn't matter at the end of the game.
Yes.
Let's see if it's still on the main screen.
Points here do not count towards winning the game.
Yep.
Yeah.
I personally,
which surprisingly also means that Crossbones can't be played there, even if you have more points.
Yeah, because it doesn't count.
That's funny, actually.
Yep.
Yeah, I didn't even play for the hot location day because like I hate hot locations.
You missed nothing, and I'll just tell you that I
screwed around in Proving Grounds. That was it.
I woke up this morning. Oh, here we go. Here's a Joe rant for you. I woke up this morning, and I'm like, I'm just gonna get in a couple games before I go to work. So I go on ladder and I start playing, and I had forgotten all about it, probably because I wanted to put it out of my mind that it actually existed. And I'm playing, right, and I'm playing into one of the ongoing decks, and I'm playing with the big cards deck. So I'm playing with the Scar and with the Sasquatch and all that. So I have a pretty good hand. I'm like, I'm set up here, and next thing I know, second location, Cancun. I'm like, son of a. Well, they've got it perfectly planned because they're playing the ongoing deck, which wants to win one lane. So he's going at it, gets that one lane. He's got Cap in there. He's got Mojo in the lane. I'm like, okay, well, I lost that. So then I go over and I'm like, well, let me just try to win this other lane, right? I'm gonna try. Nope. He ends up beating me with the Spectrum. I'm like, I think I lost 4 on that one. And then the next game, I by the time all was said and done, I'm not even going to go into it because I'm going to get angry. But by the time all was said and done, I probably lost 8 cubes. I went down 2 levels because of frickin' Cancun. I'm telling you what, they must have been in Cancun drinking like some tequila when they thought of this. Because what the hell are you thinking? And then you're going to make this a 24-hour thing when people can't basically use this to play at all. So you're like, nothing matters that you put there. Sure, everything will do its thing and stuff. You can still use it, but nothing counts. So it's like, okay, now I'm going down from 3 locations down to basically 2. And, you think if you have the power, you could, but I mean, this shuts down so many decks. Like, forget Hela, because Hela could just slam all their points on the Cancun. Like last turn, Hela, watch you see 3 cards go into Cancun and you lose. Like, it boggles my mind where they come up with some of this stuff. And why it is 24 hours, I have no idea. No idea at this point why it's 24 hours long. I
played on ladder through the whole Cancun.
I'm done. I'm retreating I'm going to Conquest. I was done. I was over it. Now, someone came up with a deck. I don't know who it was, but they put Legion in the deck. So they waited to see if the hot location came up. So it was made specifically for the hot location. If it didn't, I don't know how they won. But if it came up, they Legioned it, and then in their hand they either have a Storm or a Scarlet Witch that they play on the very last turn of the game, and they win the game that way. I'm like, you have got to be kidding me. And then I see a post and everybody's like, oh, this is a cube stealer, man. This is fantastic. And I'm like, oppressive much? Like, really? You're getting, and then I'm thinking to myself, this is probably a person who complained about Leech being oppressive And yet they come up with that. I'm like, oh my God, I can't. I know Glazer said it too on his show today, that how much he hates hot locations. I am in the same boat. I cannot stand it. I think especially when I wouldn't even mind it as much if they put it out in different weeks. Don't put it out the first week of the season when people are trying to hit infinite, and don't put it out in the last week when people are trying to hit infinite. It's the 2 worst weeks to do it. Do it in the 2 in between if you're going to do it, because who cares? Most people that hit infinite early will all have already have hit it. And then the last month, that's a race anyway for people to try to get to where they're going. Oh man, yeah, get rid of it. Just get rid of hot locations.
I love hot locations.
Oh man, God
Oh,
bless.
I hate them.
God bless.
Actually, are you being serious? You actually like them?
I don't know, man. Like, hot locations just like it spices up the game a little bit. Sometimes they're awful, sometimes they're not. So talking about Cancun, like that's going to be a location that's in the game now. So if you see it pop up randomly, you got to know how to beat it. So what you end up doing with Cancun is throwing in so how I was playing the big dumb cheap deck through Cancun, and I just used it for all my trash. Right, that's where Blue Marvel went. That's where I would throw the Zabu if I needed to throw out later cards. So whatever you kind of want to just get rid of, make sure it's in Cancun. Like whatever enables the rest of your deck.
Yeah, I will say that, because I didn't play ladder with the hot location, I was just doing random proving grounds bullshit. That when Cancun didn't come up randomly, I didn't mind it too much once in a while. Yeah. But if it came up all the time, I just, I can't.
4 straight games this morning. I got it. 4 straight games in a row. Thankfully, it's in the rare pool, like the very rare pool. So it's not going to show up very much. It's the pool that's right like down below Ego. So I'm like, all right, you're probably not going to see it much anyway. But yeah.
Did you see my rant about Ego on the Snap Judgments League Discord channel?
No, I did not. What?
All right. So, all right. Gunny T went on a little rant. All right. Yes. Ego pops up, first location. So what do I do as a man? Or, as a solid player?
You snap.
Boom.
You snap.
You snap. You immediately snap. Let Ego take the wheel. So I do that. I'm playing against a Hella deck.
Oh God!
And I've snapped. I do my thing, and Ego plays terribly for me. And the Hella deck plays pretty darn well into Ego, and it played pretty. I mean, the opponent could have been telling Ego what to do. That's how well it played. But my opponent ends up snapping turn 5 after they see that Ego played Hella for them. And because they didn't snap, I should have left. Shouldn't have given them my 8 cubes. I knew it was going to happen, but I ain't no bitch, right? I let them have my 8 cubes, and I was fine with that. But then afterwards, they had the audacity to just like emote spam me. Oh. Come on, man! You didn't have the cojones to snap turn 1 on Ego, and then you're going to act like you did something. What? What's wrong with you?
No, that's BS. I've given away 8 cubes so many times with Ego, even though I know that I'm losing. Like,
one of the other players on the Discord mentioned like, hey, if somebody doesn't snap on Ego and they wait to see like if Ego's going to play well for them and they snap, like they'll retreat then. And I probably should have. Like that's how it should. Like, if you're not going to do it, if you don't snap on Ego, then you ain't getting my cubes no more. It ain't happening.
I'll give them away. I don't care. It's a matter of pride for me. I'm like, you Ego, you deserve it.
It was okay. Like, I just don't emote spam me like you did something. Like, I snapped you turn 1, like not knowing, and then like you saw that Ego played you a perfect game with Hella. Yeah. All right. Like, oh ridiculous. My God, you did it.
I probably thought they were great too.
He's so much fun though.
And then what I said to myself was, maybe that guy was having a bad day. Maybe his grass died. His dog got run over by a car. His wife's leaving him because he didn't snap on Ego. That's okay. It's understandable. And maybe this game is the one that kept him, sane that day. So, if he needs to emote spam me to keep himself sane, by all means, brother, you get my 8 cubes. I'm sorry,
bro. This is where the beast emote comes in so much handy. If they start emote spamming, you just send them the beast emote. It's fucking great. Yep. I actually like, honestly, I kind of love when people emote spam me. I just laugh at them. I think it's hilarious.
So what Emotes I do
never bother me. I just think it's fucking funny
when people emote spam me because they're doing that because I think they know they're getting under your skin. I give them back.
Yeah.
Fist bump. Just fist bump. Like getting all those emotes. You're like, hey, bro.
Yeah, I'll just spam back. If they're like snap, I'll just spam it back. Yeah. Like I'll do the same thing. Like I'll just fuck around.
I just have fun with it. I was getting a little annoyed. Somebody was playing like they were gonna win. Like there was no way to not win. And I emailed them like snap question mark. Do you not know where this button is at? Like you're gonna win this game. Like why are you so concerned right now?
The best is when you the best is when they're emote spamming you and they lose. Oh my god, that's I literally
feels
if
great.
That happens, I will literally go through my entire collection of emotes and I'll hit every single one of them back to them at the end of that game. I'm like, that's the best thing. That's one of the best feelings ever. That and when somebody beats you, and if you're playing Conquest and somebody gets you with the 8-cuber. Right off the top, and you come back to beat them, and they do nothing but, again, they're emote spamming the crap out of you, and you come back to beat them after that. Oh god, best feelings in the game.
What just happened? What just happened?
Let's talk about the best feeling in the game. The best feeling in the game is whenever you have a close ass game. Right? Comes down to the last play.
Yeah.
You've won one location by 1 point. They won another location super close. You squeak out a win, and your opponent gives you that fist bump. You're like, damn, that right there's a playa.
Oh,
that dude knows what it's about. He just said this was a good ass game and you won. You deserve a fist bump. Like I try to do that every time. If it's a close ass game and I lose, like, yo, bro, you're getting the fist bump. Like this was a good game. Because it feels good, right? It feels like you're playing against somebody who like knows what's up.
Yeah, exactly.
That's very cool.
It is good. The close games are good, and like you give respect where respect's due. You know, it's awesome.
Yeah, but, and then one of the ones that kind of gets under my skin a little bit is talk about snap equity. We've talked about this, my YouTube channel that I have all of 3 episodes on. Maybe we'll get back to that one day. We talk about like knowing your snap conditions. The game's about betting, right? So if you see some early snap conditions, you got to take that snap early so you can pull those cubes out of your opponent. If you end up losing that game, it doesn't mean that you snapped incorrectly. It just means that your opponent got the upper hand and won. But then they give you like the snap question mark afterwards, like, "Ooh, why did you snap me? I beat you." Like, I don't know, because I saw my snap conditions, bro.
Yeah, I hit him back with the Thanos snap after that. If they do that, because sometimes I snap and then I lose, and then they're like snap question mark, and I hit them with the Thanos one.
All right, can we talk about emotes for a second? I
love them.
I was playing against one of the Italian players today, and I we had a really close game, and I gave him the Captain America sweating one, right? Because I thought that meant like, oh man, I was worried. That was a close game. I ended up winning barely.
That's what I thought it meant.
Close games. He was like, we messaged afterwards on Discord, and he's like, why'd you give me that? Whatever. He gave me the Miss Marvel one after that, and I was like, apparently those mean bad things. Like apparently every emote means that you're a bad person. Like the only emotes that are good is fist bump and Spider-Man pointy, I guess. But emotes mean different things. I don't know, man. What do they mean to you guys?
I mean, I love them. I never really take them personally or think that they're bad. I think the Red Guardian guy sweating is like, oh man, that was close. Holy shit,
Yeah. Like I thought I was gonna lose.
The Beast one is kind of like, the Beast one is kind of like, if they're it's kind of used as kind of like a cheers or like if something funny happens.
Yeah.
I'd say like the only kind of bad mannered ones that I think are probably the Miss Marvel, and because it seems pretty fucking sarcastic. The thumbs up.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it means like good job, dickhead. Like fuck you, basically.
So in round 1 of the Snap Judgments League, I was I had my game on for guest gaming to Cass, and I gave my opponent the Miss Marvel thumbs up, just thinking like, hey, good game or whatever. Apparently that doesn't mean that.
Nope.
Like I had lost like 8 cubes, and I gave him the Miss Marvel thumbs up, like, hey, I thought you did a good job, and apparently it doesn't mean that. I don't know.
No, basically it means fuck you. You took 8
that
cubes.
May as well be the other finger, not the thumb.
Yeah.
Oh man. Yeah. Okay, I get it.
You know which one I love now?
Because he mentioned on there like, oh, I didn't mean that. It was nothing negative meant by that.
You know which one I love now?
Oh, that one's hilarious.
Especially if I'm playing a move deck and they lose. Oh my god, that's the best emote to hit them with. It's like, what did you do? And can count. Yeah, there's some that I really love. I love the Ms. Minutes. I use all the time.
Oh, that's if somebody's taking a long time, right?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
love that one.
I don't have
I
Ms.
even
Minutes.
like to use that as like if not just for taking a long time, but if they're I don't know, if they're emote spamming me or something else, it's kind of like I look at that as being like you're boring me. So I just put that out
Okay.
there. I'm like, yeah, because
Yeah.
you're just boring me, dude. Like, just
What
stop.
is the deflated dude with like the hand on his chin mean?
Like the
Morph
morph
one,
that's
the
deflated.
morph one with the smoke puff coming out of his mouth?
Yeah.
That's a good question.
I think that's kind of like
Frustrated?
I think that's kind of like like you were trying to do something, but what you did didn't work out or something. You're just like, oh fuck, like come on. You know,
That's so
if
funny.
you like played hella and then like they all went in like the wrong lane or something,
Yeah.
then you'd be like, oh, that
right,
didn't work
all right.
out. You know.
I love how people use the
But yeah,
Cyclops one all the time too. To me, that looks like like that's a really really goofy looking emote to begin with. It looks like Cyclops taping a dump. But people spam that one to you all the time. Like I guess it's like supposed to be that they're laughing at you. And then a lot of people use.
I didn't think it was laughing. Like whenever I look at it, it means like, oh, like I just played out
that's what I
Sasquatch
think,
and a Mockingbird in the same turn, like, oh, big power.
Yeah,
Maybe I'm fucking wrong. I don't know.
I like the Calling Wing one too. That's the one from the Matrix. Yeah, where they're
Bring It On.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah.
I like that one too.
All right.
The Captain Marvel one's fun too. I like that.
What
one.
are all right?
Like,
So what are the socially acceptable ones to use where you won't piss anybody off? Because I think I pissed off the player that I was playing against. I had to explain to him I didn't mean anything by it. He had to explain to me what these emotes meant.
I mean, people are fucking sensitive, but probably the fist bump only. Like I don't know.
I think
like, in my mind,
in Spider-Man
only
point,
the
Spider-Man
Thanos
point
snap
only,
and the Miss Marvel are bad.
Spider-Man point only means like either A, we played the exact same card at the exact same time, or I know who you are, right? Like if I queued up against the kid, Spider-Man point's coming because I'm like, kid, what's up, dog?
Yeah. No, I think that one's fine too. I think like the Iceman's fine. The Heimdall one's probably fine. Where like you like it looks like you're nervous. I really think the Red Guardian one where he's sweating. I think that one's fine too.
I thought that was fine too, but apparently not.
Yeah, it is. It is. It's, you know,
and then the cool Cosmo. That's probably a cool one. Not a lot of people have
that
it.
one's fine. Yeah.
Lambie always, whenever I Spider-Man point Lambie every time I play him, and he always just gives me cool Cosmo.
Yeah,
that one's supposed to be great. If you play the same card, isn't it? Like if you both play the exact same thing at the exact same time. That's what I got. That one.
That's Spider-Man point. That's Spider-Man.
Oh yeah,
point.
no, like it's you're but to me, I take that as you're kind of doing the same thing. The Deadpool one. You know what's funny? They have lists of these things and what they actually mean. There's lists out there. If I can't remember, they were
all right. Hold on. So, did you see the few episodes I did for Snap Judgments where I went over like the gaming terms?
I did.
Went over like what Nerf was and what meta was and what like. I think the next one I do is my in between segment is just going to be what emotes mean.
Yeah, I think you got to do that.
That might not be a bad idea because
we got to educate the player base and myself.
Yeah. There's like they have titles. Awesome. Like if it like I'm looking at them now. Like the domino one just says roll the dice, so that just means I'm just taking a chance. There's
every Hella player needs to have the domino one, guys.
Right? Exactly.
There's the thinking lad one that's coming out, which he looks like the thinker. The Ms. Minutes is waiting around, so that's exactly what it is. The sweating one says tough decision. There's going to be an Agatha one. Oh my god, the Agatha Harkness wink. Angel praying. Oh my god! Could you imagine that one? Angels praying hands. The Beast one is Beast cheers. Black Cat just has one that's unbothered. It's called Captain Marvel shrug. Collector trade offer. Colleen Wing bring it on. Colossus flex. Cosmo cool. Cyclops crazy they call it. Dazzler vibin.
Okay.
Deadpool ouch. Devil Dinosaur cool. Doctor Strange. They say is this something I don't know. Doom confident. Drax sus. There's a sus emote.
All right.
Enchantress hard eyes.
Somebody plays turn one Quicksilver sus.
Yeah. Galactus is it
or Quinjet.
Galactus is as okay Neil. is that one. Gambit Swoon. Somebody made that one into a bad one. New Mutant Snap said he he played it and the person started like spamming him with the Ms. Marvel, and he's like, he doesn't even know what he did. He goes, "What did I do?" He goes, "I thought like I
All
thought
right, so
that's like
Miss
a
Marvel
love
means
one. Like I love
Miss Marvel
your
means
play."
fuck you. Got it.
And he
Yeah,
goes, "What?"
that's like the really bad one. I think Miss Marvel and
know
the
that
and
at
the and the
all.
Thanos snap. Those are the ones that are like the worst
Oh
ones. I
man,
think.
gosh.
That's
yeah.
hilarious, dude.
I mean, once they all come out, we should go and do like a whole like
You could
emo
do a whole
education.
Oh man.
Emo education. What do these mean?
I want the
Got it.
Jonah Jameson card specifically for those rude emotes, man.
That'd be
I want it.
hilarious.
I would play it in every deck. It
So
converts
somebody
the
had
normal
said
emotes in games over to
one thing
rude
I thought was
ones.
hilarious. So somebody said that if you have that, that the card is that your opponent cannot mute you.
I think that was I like
That
that
was
idea.
your
That was my
idea,
idea, I
wasn't
think.
it? I thought that was
Was
your
it?
Yeah,
idea,
yeah,
Your
dude.
opponent can't mute you. Oh man,
yeah. That'd be
Oh
hilarious.
my God,
You think you
that-
could spam? That'd be so
I
funny.
I would not like that one where he goes crap, and mega crap. I'd be using that all the time, all the time.
That's great.
Well, that was a tangent. That was a cool
Yeah, it was
tangent.
I was gonna say before we end this thing, I actually want to talk about a little bit about the league changes because that was the new news that came out.
We got two pieces of news.
Yeah, two pieces of news that I want to at least get if I can find the where I am here. There we go. Let's talk about the league one. So I'll read this out on Discord. Came out today, a couple hours ago, actually. They say, recently we conducted a test on a new feature called Leagues. This limited time event matches players into groups of 30, competing on a short-term leaderboard for prizes. We want to update you on our future plans for this feature, the insights we gained from the test, and the reasons behind the test design. First of all, thanks for the feedback, blah, 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 blah. We're making some core changes before it's released to the rest of the world. The leagues will no longer include purchased boosts, so they're taking out the pay-to-win. Instead, when a league begins, you'll have the option to join a standard league for free or buy into a premium league, which offers more rewards. Leagues will still focus on groups of 30 similar players, earning and losing points based on wins and cubes gained over a 48 or 72-hour period. The most prominent feedback we received was it felt pay to win. It was. We weren't surprised by this reaction. Part of the feature testing is validating assumptions and understanding the difference between what people say and what they do. Blah, blah, blah. All right. Leagues are part of a broader goal this year to ensure Marvel Snap is filled with exciting events and special occasions beyond our normal sessions. Yeah. What do you guys think of this change?
Man, this is a banger. It's a banger. And honestly, I know it had a bad rap because of the pay to win part of it, but really it's kind of a banger no matter what. Like all you had to do is just do what you were already doing. If you chose to not participate, you're just possibly not getting free extra stuff. So it wasn't something we had to pay into. But obviously somebody wanted to pay. The part that really kind of got me that I didn't necessarily like is, let's say you and I, kid, don't necessarily want to pay for the league, but you and I are like heading on who's going to be first or second. I'm going to be tempted to pay that 500 gold for that extra boost in the last few hours.
Yeah.
And then if you are too, like how far does that go? And that could possibly lead into like, a little bit of a gambling money sink of, just not really realizing where your money's going. So that could possibly feel bad for somebody at the top. But that being said, it was all free. It didn't cost you money to enter. You didn't have to do anything special besides just play games you would already play. So like, I think it was a win all around, but just kind of received negatively. Now their feedback from that, just being able to do a paid or not paid, like the premium or not, it just seems it's good, right? It's got to be good all the way around. You could just choose your own adventure there. They heard the feedback. Like we got to give them props for it. Props where props is deserved. One thing that I didn't like, that I ended up hearing on, I don't remember whose podcast, but one of the podcasts, they were talking about how if a player gave the shield, if they paid for the shield, they're also just playing on ladder normally like everybody else is, but they're going to be much more tempted to gamble, huge amount of cubes every game. There's no reason why they're not going to go ahead and snap every time, which could just lead to some really weird games if you're not also with a shield on. So I don't know. I think this is a banger. It's a great decision.
Yeah, this is I think way better change. Like it made me from like you're absolutely right. Like it was a win either way, but it made me for like before when it was like the pay to win stuff. Like I didn't give a shit about leagues. Whatever, I'm just gonna play the game and whatever happens happens and ignore the feature and not give a fuck about it. Whereas now it's like, all right, if everyone's kind of on the even playing field, then I'm kind of gonna get more excited about it. And maybe I'll get more invested and want to play a little bit more. It makes it more exciting for me this way because I'm like, okay, we're all kind of on the level playing field. It's like, and it's going to be a grind fest. Don't get me wrong. It's going to be whoever grinds the most, but at least like,
Yeah.
it's not going to be a pay to win. And so it's good. I like it.
Go ahead, Joe. You look like you're about to say something.
Yeah, look, everybody was bringing this up to be, oh, this is just another money thing. Um, and I think that's the worst, that could have probably been one of the worst things they could have done because, it seems like we've been seeing so much money stuff recently with the borders and other things like that I think, but to me, this just like, I think you guys pretty much said it best. It shows that they listened. um, I had um, I had JD Mack on my show a couple weeks ago, and he had been playing it. So he talked about it, and he said, he said kind of what you were saying, Gunny, that it's very similar to daily quests, like your daily missions and stuff like that. He said it's not much different than that, and then he said, if the people who really want to get that, what do they have, a spotlight key? The people that really wanted to get that
Mm-hmm.
key were the ones that kind of drove really really hard. But he said, other than that, if that really wasn't something you were really that interested in, then you could still end up just getting in like the top 10 or whatever it was without really having to pay much of anything. And now what I see with this is that they heard everybody and they listened to everybody. And I think it's good karma for them because that just goes to show you that they listen to the players. And that's good. That's always a good thing because then you can say, hey, look, this is coming out, but we get you, we heard you, and it's not going to be pay to win for everybody unless you want it to be. So yeah, I like it.
Yeah, and then I had thought of another possible fix to this. They're obviously not doing. I guess they could change it again in the future. But if they had like a limited buy-in, right? Like let's say you got your two free, you got
Yeah.
your free boost, and you got your free shield, and then if you only had the option to buy in like once more, if you want to pay your 1,000 gold for a shield and a boost, like almost like a rebuy in poker, like I think I would be okay with that, and I'd probably might even if I was up towards the top of the leaderboard, possibly pay that 500 gold for once, right? I don't want to play against somebody who's just going to keep hitting that button. Like that seems kind of ridiculous to me. But if it was like a limited amount of buying of how much you could boost yourself, I could see that possibly being a solid thing. And I don't know if I would have a problem with that.
Yeah. No, I think that's cool too. But yeah, man, I'm happy. That's what I was saying before. Is like if they buy it once, that'd be kind of cool because then it's strategy. If you
Hmm.
want to like when you're gonna play that, when you're gonna pay to get your boost. If you only have one, that's kind of cool. But this is cool too. Everyone's on a level playing field. Man, I'm happy with it. So I'll be more excited about leagues. Yeah, no W from Second Dinner, man. Let's talk about this thing here announced today as well. Marvel Snap exclusive partner with IGN. Find out about a new Marvel Snap update at IGN Live. So they're going to announce some big. What did they do last time at IGN last year? Was it Conquest they announced? I forget.
It was
I don't know. I wasn't
it
around.
I don't remember.
it
Yeah,
had to be.
but anyways, what do you guys think? New Snap update. What do you think is going to
What's
happen?
cool about this, though, now that you just read the whole thing about leagues, which I didn't know about before, when I posted this, I was the only thing I was saying to everybody about it is God, I hope that this is not the U.S. rollout of leagues because people are going to be really disappointed. Um, but now that you told me about that change to leagues, I don't think now that would be what this is. Um, I think something like this you can rule out what you don't think it is. It's definitely not going to be something about cards because that's too small of a scale for something like this. So it has to be a game mode that they were talking about that isn't leagues or alliances. it has to be
Well, that,
like a new game mode, or man, I don't know. Like maybe if you're looking at it from a different standpoint, could it be a partnership announcement? Because we all know that they're not being partnered with Newverse anymore. So could this be an announcement of a new business partner that they're partnering with for the game itself? Because sometimes companies like to kind of share that with in things like this. But I don't know. But see, that's another thing where you're like, is that going to really interest players all that much to see?
No.
No, not at all, because it's all business and money.
If that was the announcement, I'd be like, "What the
Yeah,
fuck are they doing?
yeah.
This is
So it
stupid."
has to be.
well,
It has
has
to.
alliances or leagues been officially announced though?
Not in the
No.
U.S. I mean, and that's what I
Right.
said.
So
It could be
the
that.
shitty part there is that could be the
It could
announcement.
be.
Like
I kind of hope it's
if it
not,
hasn't been
though.
officially announced, other than like data mined or spatterings here and there on Discord, that could be the announcement.
Yeah, I bet it's going to be alliances is what they're
It
going to
could
announce
be.
because
Yeah.
that some of the tech's already been built into alliances and data mined. I doubt it's going to be a new game mode this soon. It could be, and I don't think it's going to be leagues because they went. I don't know. They just released this Discord message, kind of spoils
Yeah.
everything. It'd be kind of like a spoiler. If it is great, like that's fine. I'd be happy about it. But like, I bet my guess is it'll be alliances and
I think it's
probably
either
not a
that
new game mode.
or it might be a big convention.
Yeah, it could be something like that. It'd be cool.
It could be them. Like, does IGN do like a large IGN convention every year?
No idea.
I
Yeah,
don't know
maybe
that
some
they
kind of
do
tournament
a
at
video game
at a large.
convention. There's so many places that do that now. Like,
Yeah.
I would like to see them, and I don't know why they wouldn't end up going to Comic-Con. Like, it's kind of silly for me not to. It goes hand in hand. Like, I don't know. I'm sure that costs money. I'm sure they've got to pay a pretty good amount of money to do that. But still, like, I would certainly have a presence at Comic Con, both in New York and San Diego. I would definitely do that because that's like your biggest convention of the year. I mean, it's just weird. Like, it could really be like you guys are saying. It could really be anything. Leagues is probably a good call because they debuted leagues overseas. Or I'm sorry, yeah. I mean, not leagues, alliances. Alliances probably a good call because they debuted leagues overseas. So maybe they're going to debut alliances here, which would make some sense. So I don't know. I just find it hard. Like I know some people, like people on my X today, were all over it saying, "Oh my God, this is going to be a draft, or this is going to be." I don't think so because that wasn't even mentioned on the roadmap, and I don't think they'd lie.
So the devs said in their Discord they're not going to do a draft mode because it doesn't make money. So anyone saying there's going to be draft mode, the devs have already said
us covered.
Yeah, they're not going to do a draft mode. So,
Kid, you got a few more minutes?
I got like 2 more minutes, man.
All right, can you pull Felicity up on X here?
Oh, let's do it. Yeah, that's gonna be sick too.
This thing. Yeah, I wish I lived closer, man.
All right, there it is. That's the one I'm talking about.
Yeah.
All right, SnapCon, we have official dates for it. August 16th through the 17th in Tampa, Florida. We're going to have SnapCon come down. Last year it was a banger. Looking forward to it. There's going to be so many players out there just enjoying a good weekend of Marvel Snap. Joe, you had talked about earlier about the Magic the Gathering events, and this is that, man. SnapCon is that. There's going to be so many great players at this event. It's going to be so much fun. There's going to be tournaments. There's going to be a main event tournament. There's going to be side tournaments. Tickets are open now for purchasing to enter the event. It is a little steep. Don't get me wrong. If you've never been to a Comic-Con or a Magic the Gathering convention before, they cost a lot of money to put on. This is being put on at the West Shore Grand Hotel in Tampa, Florida, by the airport there. So I believe tickets are just over $100 US, which sounds like a lot, but it's 2 days, right?
Yeah.
They've got to put the money somewhere, and a lot of that money is going to be either going out to the players. I know that Felicity is not raking in a whole bunch of cash. Last time that she did SnapCon, she actually took a loss for how much money she made. So believe me whenever I say this is a labor of love putting on SnapCon. Nobody's walking home becoming rich off of SnapCon. So the ticket prices and whatnot, that's where this thing's going to be growing. I should be participating as well. I'm hoping to be participating in the tournament section, possibly running the tournament. I still need to talk with Felicity. I'm traveling down to Florida at the end of June. meet up with her and Brashawn. We're going to talk over some stuff. But even if not, I'm going to be there as a player, man. Tampa, Florida is my hometown, so I've got somewhere to stay. My sister lives 13 minutes away from this hotel,
awesome.
so I'm there.
Yeah, I'm bunking with Gunny T on the floor. No, I'm going to try and make it to this. I have a conference in August, the 12th, 13th, 14th.
If you can make
California.
it, I got somewhere for you to stay, kid. Believe me.
Yeah.
My sister will let you stay.
But yeah, I'll have to fly from California and come here within a day, which I guess I could do. So we'll see if it all works out. If I don't have to stay for
awesome.
like another day,
it's gonna be so much fun.
I really want to come to this. I've been excited since last year when it first released. So I'm gonna try and make it happen.
Right? Binks was there. So. There's so many great players that were there.
Yeah. So man, yeah,
it's gonna be bigger this year.
Yeah, it looked like a fucking blast last year, and this is one of the reasons why I had Felicity on the pod talking about it, because I was like, I wanted to hear more about it, because like, dude, she put it on. She's a workhorse. It's like insane. So, SnapCon's sick, dude. I want to try and make it. At least NoBigDeal should go. I'm gonna force him to go.
This is something that second dinner should look at. When somebody does something like this, and you could see the amount of energy and love she puts into it, that they should be like, okay, this is really cool. Let's throw them a bone here. They're not saying they have to pay for the entire thing, but let's throw.
What is $5,000 to them for a tournament prize? Like, hey guys, we've got the tournament prize here. You guys got the rest. Keep if that puts $5,000 more in your pocket for putting this on, great. If not.
Unfortunately, this is America, and lawyers exist in this country. So that's what Felicity was saying. The liability, they don't want to take any liability or be associated with anything that's not an official event, which is sad. It's sad, but it's just the reality.
This is the whole.
But it's sad.
Like she said, I listened to her when she was on your stream, and then you're talking about Disney and Marvel and all that kind of stuff. You have to get past, and that's hard.
Honestly, if you read the fine print of their their service agreement for using the game, we shouldn't be hosting tournaments, but they kind of turn a little blind eye towards that, luckily.
Crazy, man.
Anyway, SnapCon's gonna be a banger, man. I'm really, really, really gonna do my best to get out there. But yeah, man, that's it for this episode, boys. Thanks so much. You guys are so much better than NoBigDeal. He's fired. That's it. He's gone. He's out. He's out of the family too. What else you guys got to say to the people? Anything else?
No, man, just keep snapping. Just keep snapping. Things get rough. Just keep snapping.
Yeah.
Enjoy the game. Go read some comic books and learn about some of these characters, and then you wouldn't have to ask whether Wendigo or why Wendigo is brown or white. No, enjoy the game. That's the reason why I love it, is because I grew up reading these books. I love these characters. I love Marvel. But yeah, just go out and enjoy it. However you're going to enjoy it, whether it's Conquest, whether it's Ladder, whether you're like me and you get stuck in the 70s, just enjoy playing, man. That's what it's all about.
That's it. Miss Marvel, emote, everyone. Yeah. Peace.
Peace.